Okay, let's go over our Bitcoin swing long, which we took last week. We will go over everything, every single detail, why this trade was so good to take on your evaluations, to full port them, why you could have 10x your money by that. And for me, I took it on a funded account where I made around 9.2k, which you pay out, you can see here after the profit split. And a lot of members passed the accounts where you didn't even have to take the trade all the way. But we will talk about everything. First of all, let's start with the planning, because before this trade happened, we already had a plan 2 days before. So let's take a look at Discord, where I made a Monday update to just update what I want to see during the week, and mainly I do this on a high time frame. So let's take a look. On Monday, I was looking for several levels. At the moment, I was neutral, but I was looking for a retracement either to this zone down here where we have a major support. We have 4 hour 200 EMA, and I would look for longs all the way up to this resistance, or opposite, I would look for shorts at this resistance where we have a daily 200 EMA for retest after a long time, almost 2 months, and I would take it all the way down here. Or the other scenarios where that if you were to lose the support or reclaim this resistance, I would look for a continuation later. It was Monday. On Monday, not much happened. We were just slowly retracing from these levels. I think we pushed a little higher, made equal highs. On Tuesday, also not much happened. We just kept pushing down. And on Wednesday, we had FOMC, where I really expected us to start moving things around, that I would really get my entry and enter some position for the week. You can see here on Tuesday we started to come down a bit more, so I added a Fibonacci retracement tool because the retracement here was pretty much confirmed for me, and I was looking at the level I want to play from, and it perfectly synced with my plan to playing from the support. So I took this low all the way to the high of this expansion up, and this was the retracement level for me. I would look for continuation higher. So this was the plan, and I waited for Wednesday where I was looking a bit more in depth. This is something you don't have to look at, but just out of curiosity, I was looking before FOMC what is the spot buyers doing or what is the futures players doing. So here is something called Velo. It's completely free, but I won't go much in depth into this. But just for clarity, you can see here that the price before FOMC started going up and then started going down. This is a hourly time frame, and we can see with this that the OI, which is like how many people are open positions on the market, we can see that the OI went down. But at the same time, spot buyers were picking up and buying. So this means for me that the price went up while shorts on leverage were closing into the price because they thought we are going higher, which pushed the price up for spot buyers to sell their positions for a better price before FOMC. So this indicated to me that we are really going to sell off to my zone probably, because a lot of people wanted to get out of FOMC, out of the market before FOMC, because Powell was speaking for the last time. We knew the rate cuts will be unchanged, but this was a good indicator for me that patience will probably pay for me. And you know what? Later we had the sell-off right around FOMC. We were touching my entry zone, and since I didn't want to scalp this because of the volatility, I just went for the normal Fibonacci 1 to 3 RR trade, which played out the best in the end. So I'm very happy with this entry. We barely went below the retracement zone, so I entered the trade right on the Fibonacci retracement. Remember, we had 2 days for this to prepare for, to set limits or anything, and we had, I think, 1 or 2 hours to enter even manually here on the level. We were chilling here for 2 hours. So the trade would be taken all the way to the highs here for a 3RR, but now let's talk about why this trade was so good to take on evaluations. Because if you don't have a funded capital, you look for trades like these with high probability, which can take several days, because opposite of futures, you can hold crypto trades overnight during weekends and stuff. So I had a plan for FOMC. I was even showing it here, that if you do not have a funded account for crypto, this trade will probably be the best for you to full port an evaluation to get a funded account. And normally this is something I would not recommend for crypto, because if we look at the standard prices for crypto evaluation, let's talk about the 100 case, it's around 450 all the way to 1000. It's here, it's 250, 500. It's a lot because of the static drawdown and so much better rules than futures. So it's normally something you want to full port. But with the recent Apex Tradify evaluations, they made something completely different, that you pay a low fee for the evaluation with with the activation fee later. So these evaluations are very cheap, where we can risk a little amount and pay the big activation fee later. Now, the second thing here is that we only need a profit target of 6%. When you look at the expensive evaluations of course these are better accounts, but these are expensive and you need to take more time into them. So when we look at these accounts, it's 10% profit target, 12%, 9%. So 6% profit targets for these accounts is absolutely absurd. I don't know how they can offer this stuff, but we will of course use it, because you have 4% trading drawdown and 6% profit target. You only need 1.5 RR trade to pass it, and you pay for the biggest evaluation $100 with an activation fee of 329. Now, when you put one and one together, you know that if we were to pass it, we paid 100 and 329, which is 429 for the whole account, and we would get a funded account with a drawdown of $4,000, which is a 10x on our money which we paid in a funded capital that we can trade with, which is absolutely insane. So even that, this trade was only a 3RR. When you were to full port the evaluation, which is very cheap, which we explained now, even that it's only 3RR, you didn't even had to, had a call. So we were talking about the evaluations. You didn't even have to reach for the 3RR, because you only need to make 1.5 RR. So when we take a look at the plan I had, we had the plan of this 3RR trade, but for passing the evaluations, we only needed to reach about half the trade, or exactly half. So it was all the way up here, which took around 2 days. The full trade took around 4 days. So this was an insane swing for passing the evaluation. Basically, anyone who bought an evaluation and just waited for this to fill within the 2 days we planned for it, and you had, like I said, like 2 hours to enter. Everything was set in the group. I even in the chat said that I'm filled, that I'm in the trade. The evaluation level for passing was up here, and I was updating later, which we will talk about the technical stuff in a bit. So this was the entry, and you can see the result. So here the trades were best, but eventually we even grinded all the way up to the full profit target. Now for the technical stuff, we talked about the daily plan which I had for the week. Now let's take a look more in depth why this trade was so good in the end. So here's the Fibonacci retracement level, which guide you can find in our journal, where is the whole guide, how I use the Fibonacci retracement tool, why I don't care about the golden packet, why I wait for it to basically fail, which also happened here. If you look at the golden packet, which most of you probably know, let me remove this. You can see that we touched the golden packet, we had a reaction, but eventually everyone who had a stop loss here or somewhere here got stopped, and I entered the trade and took the thing that they were looking for here. So I don't never use a golden packet, I just wait for this retracement level. And now let's go deeper. Over the 4 days, I think it took like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and on Sunday the trade was finished, which was it was around midnight today. Once we finished, the trade was basically done for me, and now the same thing applies. When I go down here, you will see the same pattern happening again and again and again, which is that in this uptrend we always wait for resistance to be reclaimed, and then we enter on the retest. So what we did here happened also down here, where we came above the resistance, which in this case was this one. We came to retest and then we send it to the next resistance. Same thing here. We grind it all the way up. We're trading above. We retested this support zone and then we went to another resistance. Same thing here. We went above the resistance, or held above, and then we went for a retest and then we took it up to the next resistance, which for now, when the price action is a bit more developed, the same thing I'm looking for now is for this week is the same thing. We are trading above the resistance. I will look for a retest. I will enter on the retest of this support if we are holding above, and I will look for a trade all the way up to this until it stops working. So this is how simple you can find a position, how you can not only look at trading funded accounts and stuff, how you can use the leverage that these accounts right here are providing, because it's so cheap. I don't understand the deal. It's insane to me. You can have a max allocation of I think 200k, so you can have two 200k accounts worth $8,000 in capital or in drawdown, which is like capital you can look at an exchange. So you can pay, if you were to do the two accounts, it's 200 for the evaluations and 660 for the activation fee, which is like below $1,000 for 8,000 in drawdown, which is crazy. I think they also have a sale now that you have double leverage for whole May. I don't really recommend the profit split. The double leverage is now free with the code APE, or you can use our code ASW. That we will be doing some giveaways over the month for the ones who used it. But the free leverage, what I say here, it's super good for altcoins, but I do not recommend using it for here, such for things like Bitcoin or Ethereum, because the fees will just eat you alive, and it's not like on futures where there's not much fees. On swings like this, it's not a problem because we risk so little. But if you are going to scalp on a 5-minute time frame, then the fees are starting to get super heavy and will basically eat like 1 hour if you are not careful of what you are doing. So for swings you don't really need the double leverage, but for altcoins it's pretty good. Okay, that's it for me. If you have any questions, you can join our free Discord, ask anything about this trade. Like I showed you, everything was planned beforehand and updated. I even posted the new update for this week's plan, that I basically look for the same thing, or a retracement down here. You can go take a look at that. And yeah, I will see you on the next one.